Hi, everyone, and welcome to On the Page, the creative writing program at Curry Senior Center. My name is Phillip and I'm the instructor for this program, and I'm super excited to bring our many activities and exercises onto YouTube. So, this being episode number 1, we are going to do one of my favorite exercises of all time, and that is called 100% You. This exercise can be applied to any writing medium, be it poetry, prose, dramatic writing, memoirs. It is an exercise that helps generate ideas for imagery, word selection, storytelling, character development, the list goes on. Since we are doing this exercise in this format on YouTube, I will walk you through each step and at certain points suggest that you pause the video. That will give you time to take as much time as you need to complete that portion of the exercise. Okay, off we go with 100% You. We're going to start by taking deep breaths. While doing so, try to put yourself in a place where you feel most comfortable, where you feel 100% you. This might be in your bed as a child, in your car as a teenager, taking an evening jog. It could even be more dreamlike. Maybe you're floating in outer space. Let's now close our eyes, continue to take deep breaths, and put ourselves in that place where you're not trying to be anything but exactly who you are. Think about your surroundings. Think about all of your senses, the things that you smell, taste, see, etc. And just try to soak it in and absorb that environment. Okay, we're going to open our eyes now and continue on with the exercise. I'll give you examples for what I'm doing for the exercise, and I hope that that's helpful. So the place that I chose was the back seat of my dad's 1980s sky blue Chevette. I sat there all the time as a little boy in the back seat because I wasn't allowed to sit in the front, and there would be long stretches of time where we would ride in silence. Okay. Now that you and I are both in that sacred place, whatever you've chosen, we're going to walk through each of the 5 senses and note what we experience in this environment. As I mentioned, I'll continue to use my experience as an example, and I hope that that's helpful. So I'm going to start with what we see. When I'm in the backseat of the Chevette, what do I see? As I mentioned, it can be something very finite and concrete or something more abstract. So I see thick pine trees, old pickup trucks, endless clouds, black suede chucks, and a water bottle rolling on the floor. Okay, so why don't we here pause the video and you write down the 5 things you see in the place that you've chosen. Okay, we are back, and we're going to pick up where we left off and move on to the next sense. We are going to write down the things that we hear in this place. So once again, I'm in the backseat of my dad's 1980s sky blue Chevette. We're rolling down the road, and I'm going to tell you the things that I hear in this place. I hear the purr of a 1980s engine, the buzz of a fly trapped in the car, remnants of my dream from the previous night, my father humming a Beach Boys song, and of course, an angry driver in the distance. So once again, we're going to pause the video, and I want you to write down the 5 things that you hear in the place that you've chosen. All right, we are back, and we're moving right along with taste. As I mentioned, being very specific can be helpful. The more specific you are, it can create a very unique observation that can be very helpful for generating text when we take this exercise to the next step and are using it to write. So the 5 things that I taste in this place are stale Twizzlers, a tooth that is loosening, the cold I'm getting over, youthfulness, and a Coke that is now too warm to drink. All right, let's take a moment for you to write down the 5 things you taste and pause the video. All right, we are back and we are going to move on to smell. What do we smell in this place? I will start. Backseat of my dad's Chevette. I smell leaves burning. I smell fake leather, fried chicken oil, old tennis shoes, and mom's perfume. Okay, so why don't you write down the 5 things you smell and pause the video to do so. Okay, we are back and we are going to do what we touch in this place. Backseat of my dad's Chevette. What do I touch? The 5 things. My thighs stuck to the seat. Faulty window crank. Fingernails cut too short. The puppy I want to have. An unopened pack of baseball cards. All right. So let's write down the 5 things that you touch in this place and pause the video to do so. All right, we are back and we are going to move on to the next portion of the exercise, and that is to go through the entire list for each sense. So as you can see, for the first thing that I wrote down was the things that I see in the backseat of the Chevette. Thick pine trees, old pickup trucks, endless clouds, black suede chucks, water bottle on the floor. I hear the purr of an 80s engine, buzz of a fly, remnants of last night's dream, my dad humming a Beach Boys song, an angry driver in the distance. I taste the stale Twizzlers, the tooth loosening, the cold I'm getting over, youthfulness, and a Coke too warm to drink. I smell leaves burning, fake leather, fried chicken oil, old tennis shoes, mom's perfume. I touch my thighs stuck to the seat, faulty window crank, fingernails cut too short, the puppy I want to have, and an unopened pack of baseball cards. All right, so let's pause the video there, and I want you to do the same. Go through those lists of 5 for each sense and just read through them. Just take a step back to see everything that you wrote for the previous portion of this exercise. Okay, we are back. And now what I want you to do is go through and find in each list of 5 the one that really stands out, that jumps out at you, and circle it. I've put it in red here for the sake of the exercise. If I was doing it on paper in front of me, I would just circle it. And yeah, just the one that you feel is a real winner, or one that you're really proud of, and it really exemplifies the environment that you're in. Okay. So I see black suede chucks. I hear the purr of an 80s engine. I taste a tooth that is loosening. I smell leaves burning. And I touch faulty window crank. So those are my 5 choices for each sense. And I want to take a moment here for you to do the same. Just circle the one from each list of 5 that stands out to you. So let's pause the video there for you to do that. All right, it is time to move on to the next step in this exercise, and that is to create poetry or prose or dramatic writing from this list that we've put together, your top 5 choices. So I'm going to once again do an example. I'm going to start with poetry, and my goal is to create a single stanza using my list of 5. Okay, so here we go. With a tooth loosening like a faulty window crank, he took off running in those black suede chucks towards the leaves burning and burning and burning in the distance like the purr of an 80s engine. So as you can see, there was some rearrangement done. Also, provided the opportunity for myself to use similes and to extend certain lines or use repetition to emphasize certain points that I'm trying to make in this single stanza. All right, so what if we did it for another writing medium? What if we wanted to do it for prose or drama? What I would suggest in that pursuit is to think of it as an opening paragraph for a story, or if you're working on drama or playwriting, think of it as the stage direction at the start of a scene. Okay, here we go. It was early in the morning, and in the back seat of the Chevette, John could not stop playing with his tooth that was loosening. He had one black suede chuck on top of the other, as he always did, both tapping to the purr of his dad's 80s engine. His mom yelled from the garage, asking if he could smell the leaves burning. John wanted to respond, but he was quickly reminded that the faulty window crank had not yet been fixed. So as you can see once again, I put filler in. I found ways to combine those 5 elements that I had chosen, but was able to really stretch it out and find a way to create it, to create a story that had a narrative and had a through line. So for myself, if I were to read this first paragraph, I really want to know what's going to happen with John. What kind of relationship does he have with his mother? Where are they going when they leave? Why are there leaves burning in the distance? Is that faulty window crank ever going to get fixed? Those types of questions start to really bubble up. And, if I wanted to continue on with this, I feel like there are many more paragraphs that could follow. Okay, so I would like you to pause the video here and do the same in whatever writing medium you are working on at this time, or to do it in multiple ways. Just pause the video and take some time to put together a stanza or a paragraph using those 5 elements that you chose. Okay. Okay, so that brings an end, for the most part, to this exercise, 100% you. There are a few points I'd like to make before we say goodbye, and that is to keep the list. Today, there were those 5 that you chose, but you never know. Tomorrow or a week from now, there might be other things that really jump out at you from each of the 5 senses. Second, try different configurations. 25 things listed is a lot to work with. So you might pick and choose different ones, and when you rearrange them and put it together, you never really know what will happen. Just some amazing stuff might really come from that. Thirdly, the possibilities are endless. You might turn this into a hybrid piece and make half of it poetry and half of it prose, or turn something that was prose into a play. There's just a lot of text that's been generated today. So I hope you hold on to it and look back at it and see what you can put together with that. And also repeat the exercise multiple times, and you'll keep generating more and more text to work with, just a bucket of things to put into your writing. That's, as it's called, 100% you, very much from you and singular and unique to who you are. So with that, that is On the Page, the creative writing program at Curry Senior Center. And we will see you at episode number 2 on this YouTube station. All right, take care. Bye-bye.